What's up, everyone? Welcome to the archive. Today we got Paper Ravens.
What's up?
Thank you guys for coming. Introduce yourselves and get into it.
Sweet. So, like you said, we're Paper Ravens. This is Austin Duncan, hailing from Texas.
Yep.
He's our bassist and guitarist and auxiliary synthpatist.
Nice.
So,
Sweet.
and then this is Peter Wells. He's our drummer and our producer and a lot of other things. And Austin's also, he does our graphics and our web design too. So we all wear a lot of hats.
The ultimate team.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm Rebecca Wells. We're married, Pete and I. And we're not siblings. We're not pulling a Megan Jack or anything. Yeah, and I'm the lead singer and I play keyboard and I do the lyrics too. So.
Yeah, so go into your guys' story. I want to kind of hear you guys met, got married. Is that before you moved out here? And I know you used to be in like separate projects.
Yeah.
And then came together, I guess when you moved to Nashville is when you started like...
You listen to our podcast.
I
like it. Yeah, so we both went to the same college in Pennsylvania and we're on a band together there for the college for like recruiting and stuff. And that's how we met. And then once we started dating and stuff, like we've had our own projects for a while. And
we did from the beginning. Like I actually, I started recording you before we were dating.
Yeah.
And then I was recording an album at that time, like under my own name. And then we got married and then we tried to write together. And it just was not working because we had very different ideas for what we wanted to do musically.
Yeah.
So we broke up.
Musically.
And we kept writing our own stuff. And at that time, like it was shortly after that you actually came up with the whole Paper Ravens kind of idea. And then when we moved here is kind of more when it kind of became cohesive. And I really didn't join the band until we were pretty much done producing the first album.
Yeah.
I was just producing it. And then, we were looking for like drummers and stuff. And everyone's kind of in like 5 bands.
Yeah,
so we were like, we want someone that's committed that'll actually dig into it. So that's when I was like, I'll just do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, plus he wrote really difficult parts for himself. And we were like, well you deserve to have to play those though, because
there was like parts where like I would program them and I'd be like, it like goes between, electric kit and acoustic kit. I'd be like, I don't know, whoever you get to drum will configure how to do this. And then I had to figure out how to do it. Because aside from like little things here or there, I didn't really play drums all that much. I knew the basics and could like program or like trigger things in an electric kit when I'm producing something. But to actually sit down and see how like live, how it will be cohesive with electric stuff and acoustic stuff was a little different. So, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we started writing tracks and stuff and like, put the first album together and it came out really good. And then it was just me and him for a while. And then we decided like, hey, it'd be kind of nice to have a third guy, like someone to play live bass and not like
and
put
guitar.
it in the track and stuff. Because sometimes, even though we played it in real life for the track, it's just way more fun to have it live.
It's different live.
Yeah,
too.
and having another person too, like I'm behind the kit and you're up there. To have someone else that's up there gives it a different energy and connects the whole stage. So
So then we were already friends with Austin and knew he could play. Yeah. So we asked him to join and he was like, I guess.
The story in the podcast you guys talked about where you talk about how you're like, do you want to be in a band? You're like, so join one.
Yeah.
The crappiest way to ask someone if they want to join your band.
I didn't mean it like that, but it was hilarious. So he was like, what did you ask me?
They're just out of nowhere, too. I was like, I'm just like sitting here getting like torn to pieces now. Thanks.
Just hanging out. If you want to join a band, or you want to be in a band, you should join one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks for the advice.
Good talk.
Jerk.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And not to gloss over, if you want to kind of hear the whole story, you guys have it on your conspiracy podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I want to dive into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear like deeper of everything, but
Yep.
You did live, because you were doing something for a label, like trying to get a video.
So a guy out in California was asking for some live videos, and at that point we hadn't really played much, so we didn't have any videos or anything like that. So we're like, crap, we got to get something out there. And within 24 hours, we came up with the idea to just do a show at a building we had access to, and get it all together, film it, edit it, and turn it around in like 48 hours. So he helped with that.
Yeah, that's
it was a big
they
project.
Look really good too.
Oh,
That was,
thanks.
before I like listened to the podcast and everything, I was watching the live videos. I was like, these are really good, quality and everything. So I was gonna ask about it, and then
That's awesome.
there was a story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's wild.
Yeah.
My biggest question is, how did you get 30 people to come out in
Right.
that short time?
Yeah.
Because you can't get
Right.
people to come out like
Yeah,
no,
so-
in advance.
Yeah.
So we
So
we had,
true.
we had rehearsal at our church, and we're just like, by the way, after this rehearsal, just go down to this other building, and because we need some people, and we invited some friends too, like shot some text rounds, but we had like 30 people show up. It was really cool. It was surprising.
I think it was luck partly.
Yeah.
But because we haven't been able to draw that many people to a show since.
No, the other couple,
No,
last couple.
Right.
No, we did, but yeah, it's like they were.
Making us look bad.
No, you know how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like always your friends that like
Yeah.
never come to shows.
Yeah.
Right.
And they think it's.
They'll come to
fun.
the first two and then never again.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, all right, cool. We
And I'm-
supported you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and we're guilty of that too.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
friends that play and we don't go see them either. So
Yeah.
It's hard.
can't
It
go-
Especially
is.
when you guys are wearing all the hats in the band, and
Yeah.
there's always so much to do.
It's
Right.
like,
So, which is another amazing thing about you guys. You're kind of like this ultimate team of like all
Yeah.
these great things and coming together.
yeah, it was something we're really lucky with because
Yeah.
it's like creative vision. Becca has a really good eye for that stuff. And then I do music production, and then adding Austin to the band really helps because he's designed our logo, did some video stuff for us, photography stuff for us, and now working on like website and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a huge help because we would be broke.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So,
So
yeah.
you kind of like have to do it yourself
Yeah.
anymore if you want cool stuff. So
Yeah,
did
for
you
sure.
with the logo? Did you sketch that out and then?
Yeah, we kind of like tag teamed it. We were all just sitting like at a table together and trying to like come up with something. And I was like, I think it would be really cool if it was just one piece, but I don't know how it works because I tried to draw like a P and an R together and it just looked like the Cairo symbol from Greek mythology. I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. And then it kind of looked like pharmacy symbol. I don't know. So he figured out how to make it work. Yeah,
Yeah.
and because he's really good with art and like anything visual. So he's like, yeah, I think you might want to move these things around and yeah. So it was like a really a joint effort, but he really makes everything. I'll like
Beautiful.
draw him a stick figure and he'll make it into something.
It was funny going through that process too because we had one edition of the logo that looked like a grocery store logo. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go
good
shopping for
branding.
food at our band. I just wanna-
Yeah.
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 So
But we were pretty happy with this one. So
yeah.
And then so the Edgar Allan Poe reference for your band name, was that something like were you reading and then you're like, that's really cool and I want to do that, or?
I mean, I've always been like a nerd, hardcore nerd, and I love Edgar Allan Poe. Like I think I read the Raven poem like for the first time in like 7th grade, and I was just like, this is my favorite poem in the whole world. And so that played into it, and like I've always had a thing for the bird, like ravens in general, and like what they mean in mythology and stuff like that too. So it just all kind of was like the perfect storm. And yeah, like ravens signify change coming, and then like that's what my songwriting kind of was for me growing up, was like the vehicle for change in my life that like got me out of dark places. So I was like, my songs were kind of like ravens, helping me out. So it all kind of played together, like that poem and all those things. So
Yeah, and so the conspiracy, which is kind of like your guys's, join the conspiracy. I love that. Super cool.
Thanks.
And so, I guess I didn't quite understand. You said it like when ravens come together, and so what is it? Like it's like that's
So,
what they call it.
Yeah,
Or
a group of ravens together is called a conspiracy of ravens. So
this is what it's called.
Yeah,
It's wild.
like-
What a
Sweet.
cool name for
You're
them.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think maybe that comes from them, like, I don't know if you've heard this, but in England, like, their Parliament building, or the castle, I'm gonna get crucified for getting this wrong, but there's a special, like, a really important building, I think it's the Parliament building in England, where there's been ravens on the roof for, like, hundreds of years, and they've never left. And everyone's like, the day England falls is the day that the ravens, like, leave that roof. But they call them a conspiracy because, like, it looks like they're conspiring against something.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think it's like there's a couple different names for groups of ravens too. The
there's,
conspiracy is like I think the most common one, but they're like a certain action they're taking or something. And then there's I think maybe one or two.
yeah,
the
there's a
conspiracy is
couple
the
other
main
ones,
one.
but they're not as interesting.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to do with our band.
No.
Not as catchy.
We shun those.
Yeah, we reject those definitions. Yeah.
And then going into your guys' singles, so Just to Forget, which is an absolute banger. I love that.
I like it.
And then I love when you're talking about marketing it, you released it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Single
on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And it's about a breakup, so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
It works.
Yeah.
So.
And then, so that was the first one I saw the live video to.
Yeah.
And so did you shoot all of the live videos? Because you have that for the Just to Forget, and then I know you did one for Devil, and there was one more, I can't see it.
Future.
Was it Future?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we did all those. Was this question like on the same night? Or
Yeah,
whatever?
was it all on the same?
Yeah, so it was like we basically set up to that little like mini show. We're just like, let's do 3 songs in and out of here in like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that. Because it was just us and just trying to get that video out. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think we ran through them all like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, we did a couple different shots.
Yeah, but
That's what happens when you have like your friends come to the video shoot.
Right.
And you can just do whatever you want.
Hey, get more into it this one.
Yep.
clap
Yeah.
again at the same part.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're just gonna do this like section.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so the video producer was Neil, and then
Mhm.
obviously you edited and everything.
Right.
So how did you guys meet Neil?
So Neil, yeah, he goes to our church too. And he's a really talented video guy. What is his actual title?
Well, so on the stuff that he does, he's a director of photography.
Yeah. But he's
His
got
job.
a good eye for that stuff. And he helped us out with some photography stuff early on too. When we just had nothing, we were like, we need something, and he offered to do it just to help us out.
You got to use the people around you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we've really tried and had to do, but it's been really great.
Yeah. So there might be some stuff in the future we use with him, and but yeah, he's just a good friend of ours, and we kind of were lucky enough to.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the
Cross
good thing about
paths,
being
yeah.
here too. Is like everybody's talented at
Right.
something, so
Yeah.
you can really just go into it and be like, "Hey, I need your help." Like, okay, you know?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, so the second single was Future, and I know the lyrics, and like I was listening to the lyrics and everything. And so, is it about like you guys, or just a broader?
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
like the lyrical content and everything. It's uplifting.
Good. That's what I wanted it to be, and like it's meant to be one of those songs you just kind of listen to and you're just like,
Yeah.
I got this. And I kind of like specifically wrote it feeling like people were getting down on millennials, which they tend to do, and like
Yeah.
it's
Which is
just
odd.
yeah, like people just love to hate on somebody, and lately it's been millennials. But and then like as I started performing it more, I was like, man, this can probably apply to like a lot of people. Like a lot of people have been told like you're not gonna amount to anything, or you're just a drain, or you're just annoying. And, like so yeah, I wanted a song that kind of gave people an anthem to sing, like we don't look like much, but there's so much more to us, and like just shout it out. So
It's great for musicians, man.
yeah,
It's like
that's
it's
right.
what we go through all the
Well,
time.
yeah, I was gonna say, like,
So
as the
true.
person that didn't write the lyrics, like, the more we play it live too, and just kind of go through musical stuff, like, as through life, the more you get out there, the more you get, like, acceptance and rejection at the same time. So, like, every time you bump into someone that's like, I just don't care for what you guys are doing. It's like, well, this whole song is like, we might not look like much, but, I think we have a lot to offer and a lot coming up, and
Yeah.
it's kind of just a nice, like, the song almost has your back after a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you listen to it and be like, oh yeah, this is why.
Right.
And I just think it's so weird that people, are just like, hey, I don't like what you're doing. I'm like, just don't say anything.
Right.
Go
Right.
on.
What
Like,
do
I
you
needed
mean?
that, thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man,
Yeah.
we've had so many comments of just like, quit what you're doing. I'm like,
Yeah.
just move on.
You
can-
In your head, you can be like, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I do if I hear something I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
yeah.
Just skip the song.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
usually if I don't say something, it's probably not good.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But,
It's like I get the message when I have 5 likes, like
Yeah.
on our
Right.
new
Right.
single. Like I get it, you guys
Right.
hate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then swinging, which we got right here,
Yeah.
DIY.
That's right.
Yep.
Like all of it.
Yeah,
right?
all of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I did want to comment on the little blast beat.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Are you into the heavier?
In college and high school and everything,
Respect.
I was in, heavy metal, like melodic hardcore bands.
Yeah.
I was a guitarist. But yeah, I wrote all the parts and stuff because I was producing there too. But I love metal. So that's partially where it came from. And I don't know, I was like doing that snare build thing, and I was like, it just doesn't sound good by itself, so I added that cymbal in. And I had to do a little blast beats.
Yeah. I know, I was watching it, I was like, oh man, like, I was not expecting that.
Like this pop song, and all of a sudden you get that.
No, I love it. That's cool. Because then people, who are into metal will be like, oh yeah.
Right, yeah.
'Cause obviously you guys all like different styles of music too. So.
I think we're all pretty into heavy music.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I heard
somehow...
the MCR shout out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repping right
Look
now.
at that, yeah.
I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, I think it's kind of funny that we all ended up in like a pop-ish band because we all, like, that's all we listen to is like I Prevail and Slipknot and like all this, like, not pop. I mean, except for Pete, who loves Selena Gomez. But
Hey,
I'm not actually. I love her new album too.
It's a good album.
Yeah, so it's just kind of funny, like, and I love that Pete can throw in some metal beats in there and like.
And it's cool. I like a lot of bands too that you can hear their backgrounds within something that they totally don't listen to, or maybe they don't sound like rather. I don't know. I think like guys like Muse and stuff. You hear a bunch of metal riffs from him, and then he also all of a sudden is playing this like classical piece, and you're just like, holy crap, this is amazing. But they're I mean basically pop too. So I like throwing different stylistic things in there.
It makes it dynamic, I feel like, because with metal, as you know, drumming and metal is completely different than there's so much more accents and stuff. So when you can take that and put it into pop alternative, like
and
really
we did
cool.
that kind of with Just to Forget as well with that. It's like this really poppy beat the whole time, and then all of a sudden the bridge it goes into this cut time like breakdown feel. Yeah. And even like I don't know, all the accents within that, like triplet accents and everything else. It was just for when we were producing it, we were like, should we keep this version or should we like go back to that pop feel in the chorus? But it just felt right to stay in that kind of like metally mode. So it's a lot of fun to mix that into pop.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. And then I saw something. It's called, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, Synesthesia.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I'll try not to go on too long about that.
I have no idea what it is. So
it's awesome.
Sweet,
oh
dude.
Man.
So, yeah, I can't wait to explain it to you. So I discovered this like phenomenon that I did in high school where I like attributed personalities and colors to letters and numbers, and I was like, I wonder if anyone else does this, because I've done it since I was like since I started reading. I remember like feeling like when I was doing my math homework at the kitchen table, like the numbers that I was adding together didn't like each other. Or it was the weirdest thing. It sounds crazy, but like the number 4 is green and it's a boy, and the number 5 is purple and it's like androgynous, but like genderless. But they don't like each other, and like 5's always being a jerk to 4, and then like 6 is a bitch, and like sorry, I was trying not to do that, but yeah, so like things like that, and I was like, what is this? Like, do other people do this? And so I asked people, and they were like, no. What the heck are you talking about? What are you smoking? And I was like, I promise nothing. But then I like Googled it, and I was like, this is called synesthesia, where your brain kind of like connects different senses and melts them together, and they happen at the same time, when normally you'd just be seeing letters and not like sensing any color that weren't there. You know what I mean? But your brain like attributes things that aren't actually being perceived, and like gives it an extra layer of sense. Yeah. So there's a lot of different types, and like the one where you see like letters and numbers as having personalities and whatever is called grapheme synesthesia, which basically is just a fancy word for letters and numbers. And then there's a kind where like if you see a color, you hear a note in your mind, like you hear music.
It's wild.
And one of our professors in college had that. Yeah, it was. He would walk past this one painting in the hallway, and it was a really colorful like rainbow, and he's like, I hate that painting. It's like, it's so noisy. And we were like, what are you talking about?
And not like noisy as in like, color noise. It's like,
yeah, like he was
audibly.
like, no, I hear like so many notes at the same time coming out of that painting. Every time I look at it, I can't look at it. And then I realized, like, the more I looked into it, that when I listen to music, I see shapes. And like, so like an 808 sounds like a big black circle coming out of my face. Like and that's another form of synesthesia. Yeah. So, and Pete and I both have it in different ways, and like, it's not the same for everyone either. So like we both have like sound visual is what you would call that one, where you listen to music and you see something. And then we also have like I guess when you're playing certain chords, when you play a sound, you see a color in your head.
Yeah, so I hate playing a D chord on piano or guitar because it sounds really yellow and
Yeah, it sounds so
it's
yellow.
It's not like a poppy yellow either. It's like kind of a mustard yellow. Ugh.
It's kind of like that meme where the guy's
can.
like, "I'm so high, turn the music down, I
no.
can't taste my
see
mac and cheese." Like,
Yeah, but it makes album covers even more important because
yes.
there would be so many albums that I actually liked when I was growing up that,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're downloading music back in high school, you didn't always see the album cover.
Yeah.
You're just downloading what you want
You
from the artist.
LimeWire.
Yeah, and you're like listening to this album, you're like, oh, this is sick, and then the album cover comes up, you're like, oh, I don't
Yes.
hear any of this. Or like an artist comes out with a new album, and you look see it in what was the CD store then, and you're like, I don't want this. And it might be having some sweet songs, but just because of the coloring, you're just, I'm good.
Yeah, like I get thrown off of albums so quick
Yeah.
if I see a cover that I don't like. And,
Right.
And I think everyone's a little like that. Like if you're
Right.
artistic, you're sensitive to that
Yeah.
stuff. But
It gives off like what it's gonna sound like.
like I have a friend who, if she says a word, she tastes something.
Oh,
And
that'd
that
be
kind,
weird. Wow.
I would get so annoyed with.
Yeah.
That's
because-
so wild,
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So-
and you guys just like grown up with it, like
Yeah.
since you're kids.
Yeah, I remember telling my mom about it all the time, and I didn't know what it was at that point. I don't think, but then when we figured it out, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of cool when you have something your whole life and then you're like, I'm not crazy, but it is.
It's like an anti.
It is kind of crazy though.
It is.
It's like I can't really do anything cool with this.
Yeah.
I mean, but
It's like you can only disappear when everybody's not looking at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're only invisible when no one's watching. That's my favorite anti-superhero
Yeah.
power.
After this, I'm gonna have to show you guys our album cover.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you can
yeah.
be like, yeah, this is terrible.
Okay.
Oh no.
I can't look at this.
Oh man, no, I'm sure it's good.
We're not judgmental, I
Yeah.
promise.
So, and then Devil was a one that really stood out to me because you spit some sick ass,
Thanks.
rhymes in the beginning and in the middle. And then that was played on 102.9.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That
it was exciting. We fell asleep on the couch and then woke up to a tweet that we were on the radio. We were like, crap, we
missed
missed
it.
it.
Oh,
We didn't
Yeah.
even hear it.
like, hey, can you play it again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I was like,
So.
are you serious? The first time we're on the radio and we sleep through it.
Yeah, but
it's
it is. Yeah, it was cool to see the reception of that one.
Yeah.
That one's got a lot of attention.
How
so.
did you get on there? Was anything you guys did, or they just heard it and?
They have a segment on Sunday nights called The Local Buzz,
Mm-hmm.
and they take submissions, so...
Oh, so you just submitted it and then you
Yeah.
just missed it. You
I
didn't
didn't
know
think
that.
he'd
You
We didn't know he was gonna play it.
He
Yeah.
didn't tell us. He's like, I'm not. He didn't say like I'm spinning this week or anything.
Right.
But he tweets your band when he does like spin something,
Mm-hmm.
so you get an @ and so that's how we found out. And we were like, oh, this is awesome. I wish we would have known sooner.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
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 And then so your guys' album Origin came out in 2018ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Yep.
late.
Yeah, it was
like
July.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Summer, middle of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, man, where was it? I have it on here. There was an issue with was it tracking or
So,
something happened? With,
yeah, so I got this new mic and I was using it and everything, and we tracked vocals, and I was mixing. I was like, there's some kind of weird harmonic coming through or something. Something just sounds really sharp, and for this mic, it should not sound like that. So I looked into the issue a little bit, and I guess there was a production run that had like a defective part, basically. So I emailed support and they like sent it right back out. But I was like, I already tracked all these freaking vocals, and it was just the vocals weren't sitting in the mix right, and anything like that. So yeah, I basically I was like, we can keep all the background vocals, all that, and I think we even kept like the lead vocals for Devil.
Yeah, because
and
those
Wash You
weren't.
Away.
Yeah, those were in
Because
a
they
like
were-
different register,
Right.
so it didn't really.
Yeah,
sound the
it
same.
was especially with like a female voice, high notes, like different harmonics stuck out that weren't supposed to be there and all that. So yeah, we had to retrack. So I think we originally had like an April release date, and then we had to push it to July because
Yeah.
we had to retake all the vocals, and that was a pain in the butt.
Oh yeah, I was pissed. had to
I
sing
bet,
it.
yeah.
And it hurts creatively too because you're just like so pumped,
Yeah.
and then once you hit like that much of a roadblock, you're just like,
What?
I want to be done with it.
You lose
Um,
your primary delivery. Like I
Yes.
felt like I kind of lost some of the life in the recording process because I had to sing it again and I
Mm-hmm.
had already done it. So it's like I got to get that energy back, and it's like months later. It's
Yeah.
That's why we didn't redo Devil too, because the takes we got for Devil were just so good
Mm-hmm.
for what we wanted, and when we tried to do it again, I was like, this just isn't the same.
Yeah. I think I had a cold too or something, so placement just wasn't happening. And I was like,
so yeah, that was frustrating. But ever since then, it's been fine.
Yeah.
And
he's like a wizard with that stuff too. I don't know how he hears half of the stuff he hears, but yeah.
It's because you see it too.
It's because I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, so producing, you do other bands around here.
So I've produced a few different artists around here. One girl, Victoria, she's like kind of like an acoustic pop type vibe. And then my friend Ethan, who's in the band Harbor de Grace. I always fly through that name. Yeah. He's in Florida right now for a little while, but it's kind of like a metalcore type rock. I don't know, it's like an Americana metalcore. It's a really cool blend.
Really cool, yeah.
And then I still have some clients from different places in the country that still come out, and one's like a folk band, and so it's like all over the map as far as stylistically. But yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Have you been doing that for was it before you moved here too? You were doing it back in
Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania, yeah. So professionally, I guess you could say, I've been doing it since 2015. But I mean, my first production rig, like my mom bought me this computer that was like this tall back in the day. And that was back in, I think, 7th grade. So since then I've been messing around with different, softwares and writing and recording. Like I said, back when I was in like metal bands, I would kind of produce like demo tracks to give the band their parts and all that. So yeah, it's kind of been a lifelong thing. In the last almost actually 6 years, I guess, coming up, I've been producing other people, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. I love when you guys' podcast and you're talking about like your pastimes and the fun things you do. You guys make like it's something you can make money with. Like I just read books.
Oh yeah, seriously. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Which you can speak other languages. You do the Duolingo and dabble into. And you never mentioned what other language. You said that it's obscure languages.
Yeah. Okay, so I speak Irish, which is a language. Unbeknownst to most people.
Yeah.
It's not like top of the morning to you. It's like
I saw you shared like a St. Patty's Day and it had some weird stuff. I was like, I don't know what that's
some weird stuff. Yeah. Yep, that would be Irish. And then I also speak a really obscure language called Cornish, which is used to be like a Celtic nation that England took over, and but they still like kind of preserved a lot of their cultures even to this day somehow. And there's a language for that too. So, and some of my family is from there in my family tree, so I started learning that language too.
That's awesome.
I can teach you curse words in it.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, right.
And then Austin, so you've been doing like video and you said that you didn't take pictures of people before. Is that something that you've kind of started doing more so now, or and how long have you been?
No.
No,
no, not too much. Just with like Pete and Becca, whenever I wasn't in the band and they needed like band photos and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like I know like technically what makes a good photo.
Yeah.
I can do that, but as far as like directing people and stuff like that, it's like totally out of my wheelhouse. So kind of like what we were talking about in our podcast, like we got what we needed to work for the time.
I think I even had to convince you to do it because you were like, I'll take pictures, but I'm not great at shooting people. I was like, I don't care. We don't have money.
Yeah.
We just need something. We have nothing right now. So.
Yeah. But, it's kind of like, it's interesting because I'm basically like a photography major out of college. My degree's weird, but, like I'd spent like my entire like college career and before that, like landscapes, like video stuff of landscapes, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Like never focusing on people or anything.
That's cool though, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in it like at all, but made it work.
Yeah. And then graphic design as well. How long you been dabbling into that? Because that stuff is
so I got into that. Thanks. I got into that like maybe like my sophomore year in high school. There was a graphic design class that in order to do like the entire like course of graphic design through my high school at the time, you had to take drawing your freshman year, and I didn't take drawing my freshman year. And it was like coming up to my sophomore class for graphic design, and I wanted to be in that, and like they weren't gonna let me, so I made like this entire like drawing portfolio, and I had a friend like pirate me a copy of Photoshop. And so I installed that on my computer and then like made this whole portfolio and went to like show the teacher and say, can I skip drawing? just join your class, and she let me, which was good. And then, yeah, like took all those classes, like won some awards, got a scholarship. We went to college for it. So
that's crazy.
Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, like 15 till like still.
Man, you got graphic design, production, talent.
And only 3 members.
Yeah.
Those are like the big ones. That's crazy cool. And then so I saw a picture. I don't know what it was, but there was this sick camera. Is that yours? It's like a big. It's just a bigger camera, and it looked like one of those really professional.
Oh yeah. Oh, back at the I think it was this video shoot.
Oh yeah.
Remember we took those pictures when we were redoing your shots? Or no, we were adding you in because you just joined the band.
Oh yeah. So no, it's not our camera.
No, because I was like, that's a nice camera.
Yeah.
That was
I'm all embarrassed by our little.
No.
No, that's what we use for everything else.
Yeah.
That was again kind of the perks of working at the church we do. We have access to some equipment, and that was one of their cameras, and we used that for the swinging video. And like I said to Austin, this video swinging, we shot all of like the storyline and me and Becca's shots, and then like 2 weeks after those shoots, and the thing is when we asked Austin to join, and I was like, crap, we gotta get him in the shots now, because it'd be weird to be like, Austin's in the band, and then put out this video once it's edited like in a month, and be like, but he's not in this video. So we added him in afterwards.
Which wasn't hard because we used the same setup and everything. So yeah.
It's interesting. Like a lot of those shots, all the shots without me were filmed like a month before the shot with me.
Yeah. That's the great thing about editing.
Yeah, it is.
You
It's
can
great.
do anything.
Yeah.
And then so I saw Addict.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out on the 13th.
Yeah, this Friday.
Yeah. So it'll be out by the time this airs. So
sick.
Put that in the description for sure.
Download it.
Yeah.
It's we're excited about that. That's like the first release we've done since 2018. So it's been like a break, which is pretty common, but it feels really good to get some stuff out now. So
talk about the new direction. I know you guys are saying it's more.
So I mean, as far as writing, we over the last like 6 months or so, we wrote like 25 songs. Like some of them are like half songs, some of them don't have a bridge, whatever, but 25 songs basically. And at first we were gearing up for this big, like kind of a concept album. And then as we kind of kept thinking about what to do in the right direction, we were just like canning that whole idea. Like we had this whole like mock-up and everything for it. And I walk into the office the next day and I was like, Austin, we're scrapping everything.
Because he was already working on the cover album. Or the album cover.
I like had finished the album cover. I spent a ton of time on
really,
that.
really extensive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we should still totally use it for something. But
so we had this whole idea about like how we were going to release it as far as like media and everything else. I was like, I think the amount of time it's going to take us to do this, we need to have content now, and to help us even grow as songwriters and all that.
I always joke about this too. Like we're a band full of perfectionists because I think every single one of us is like type A.
Yeah,
which is really
we
not
laminated
common.
We laminated our last set list.
We did. Like it's laminated and color alternated, with, like the different. So so we tend to like sit on stuff until it's like perfect. And I was like, no, we can't do that. Like, we've got to actually start getting out there and, like, giving people stuff.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
I get it. And especially producing your own stuff, that's the worst. Because you're like, this could tweak. You know, and then it just keeps getting pushed, further and further.
And that
we should redo this.
I mean, that was especially true with Addict, because Addict is, I mean, it's not a full departure from our, original sound. But it does have some different vibes. And, like, it's just, this is a little different. It's kind of a progression of what we were before. But even referencing like how I want this to sound sonically and like how do I want the different parts to fit in, there wasn't really much for me to reference because I'd listen to this one album, be like that's cool, but that wouldn't really fit with this or whatever. So like as far as tweaking, I could have tweaked all day. I was like, no, I just like this is what I think it should sound like, and to like whether I am blinded to some things or not because I'm doing everything. Usually you have different sets of eyes and ears on everything, but I'm like, to the best of my ability, as far as what I can see, this is what I want it to sound like. And it was just to a point where it was like, I don't have any really complaints, so I'm gonna let it go. And I think it sounds really good now. But yeah, like you said, tweaking all day, you could do that for months and months and months.
Especially when you're not like emailing someone like, is it done yet? Is it done yet?
Yeah.
Like you have it and you can you can take as long as you want. So, yeah.
And at some point you gotta be like, okay, we have to release something, like, let's do this.
Yeah. Because like sonically, with electric and, where I'm on drums, like electric kit and an acoustic kit, it's like for a lot of pop songs, you would put, an electric kit and electric snare in there, like as part of the main drums. And there's no samples in those drums. Like I think there's an electric hi-hat. But everything else is just acoustic, not even sampled out. So it was kind of a departure from, not a departure, but it's different than what most pop bands even do, I think. It's more like a rock take as far as not using any samples in production than I thought it would be, because it's a really poppy song. So it was interesting.
But, like, I remember he's just getting mad, like trying to produce it, and he's like trying to master it, and he's like, there's nothing to listen to compare it to. And I'm like, that's maybe a good thing.
Yeah, because I would listen to people like, I don't know, 21 Pilots, but they have a very specific sound as far as how they're mixed and mastered. And then I'd be like, well, it's a little more poppy, I guess. And then I'd listen to like Selena Gomez or something, and I was like, but it's not that poppy. And then you listen to Muse and you're like, yeah, but they're just like anthemic rock pop, so it's not really like that. So I think it has a place of its own, kind of, which is really
good,
cool.
And then you can compare, your other releases to this one.
Yeah.
That's true too. I mean, we can kind of use them for reference a little bit.
Yes, and I wanted to do something too, because we're putting out these singles all through this next year, and I didn't, if we compile them to an album or whatever we plan to do, I didn't want to like differ from our sound so much that it's going to stick out later on down the road. So that was. Just trying to think ahead with that too. But.
So are you planning on doing singles just throughout the year and then release an album at the end? Or?
Yeah, that's the plan. So we actually have the next single musically written. We have a chorus written. We're still working on some of the tweaks for other parts, but and it kind of fits the same vein. Maybe a little more electronic, but so we have the next one, and then we have, I don't know, like 15 more or something like that.
Yeah, we've got a whole Dropbox folder full of stuff. So
nice.
we're just
and they go,
we pick a track and we're like, let's work on this one this month. Like Becca write some lyrics. And I'm like, okay. So then I'll like listen to it like 24/7 and then write some lyrics to it, and then Pete will either say, yeah, I'm not feeling this, which is what happened with our, like, we were working on one and we got to the point where we were recording the vocals and we were just like, no, this is not landing. This is a scrap. We're gonna throw this in the basket. And
it's like kind of like put it on the back burner until we can gut it.
Maybe someday.
But we have a few months planned as far as what we're actually gonna release.
The goal is to release like at least one a month right now. So
every like 4 to 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's a good plan because you keep,
especially in this day and age.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like if as people listen through the year too, like the Addict's kind of like this 80s pop thing. The next one is kind of similar, but like I said, a little more electronic probably. And then there's one coming up that's like, more like Devil, where it's a lot of like raps and then like this big metal breakdown.
Nice.
So it's gonna be really, really cool.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't vary from our sound so much that we sound like a different band. So,
right.
We like writing rap verses and metal choruses.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
So
that's great. I wanted to ask. So you sang on August Burns Red.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if this is a joke post or not.
It's not. So weirdly enough, that band is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where we both went to college.
Yep.
And I grew up like an hour away from there. And so Mac Reiner's sister went to school with me, and we were in a choir together, and she was my accompanist for my voice lessons and all this stuff. She's a really great chick. She's awesome. But like her brother and like August Burns Red was trying to work on this Christmas album, and she mentioned to her brother that like the choir that we were in could maybe sing background on it, and he was like, yeah, that would actually be awesome. So they brought in the band, and in our choir room at the college set up just like some floor mics and like room mics and stuff, and like taught us the part. And my choir director actually wrote the part because they were like, we don't know how to write for a choir, so like, can you help us out? So he wrote this pretty sweet part, and we just like did a bunch of takes, and it sounds awesome. Like
that's so wild.
Yeah, so it was
this is
really
my Christmas
weird.
album every year.
Yeah.
You know,
Is it
like,
really?
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
for
dude.
like the past 6 years. It's like,
Yeah.
or when that came out early.
Oh, like 2015.
Yeah, so I guess 5 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but yeah.
Well, no, it was before you
Is it?
graduated, so it was
Yeah.
at least or at latest 2014.
It was pretty cool though. It was like surreal. I was like, because I listened to them before that, but I wasn't like, a
I
diehard fan.
love-
See,
But
that's-
like
that's
all
like-
the
I love
guys
them.
at the band
Yeah.
or at the college that were like diehards, they were like, "What the heck? I should have joined choir this semester.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah, like,
kidding me?"
when I was there, I'd be walking down the halls and all of a sudden Matt Griner walks by me like, what the crap?
That would be so
Man.
wild, man. I
Yeah.
love ABR so
Yeah.
much. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that and I was like, I didn't know it. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like,
Yeah, super random.
Mhm.
that's so
really
crazy.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like there was this one time, not to like keep going on, but
No,
there was one time my friends were like, so we're going to the Grinders for a party, you want to come? And it was like, it wasn't like a crazy party. It was like a bunch of, I don't know, nerdy Bible college students going to a party. So we get to their house and it's like, I don't know, it's like hanging out at your mom's house. Like there was family pictures of the whole family on the fridge and you're just like, all right, I guess they're going to like grab some popcorn and watch a movie. I don't know, it was just weird seeing all the family pictures of Matt and them and everything else.
yeah.
Being a diehard ABR fan for like 10 years before that or whatever, but
Yeah.
I would watch their music videos when I was just learning to play guitar. I was like, that's what I want to be.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
sick.
for sure. I
Uh,
remember
and then I'm like,
Constellations,
At a movie night at his mom's house.
Super weird.
so
Like it's not even
crazy.
Matt's
I
house,
feel
his mom's house.
Not
It's almost
not
better.
knowing him at all, like personally, he seems super down to earth and like just
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. They're-
Yeah.
Like you love to find out that like the people you idolize are like that. It's
Right.
pretty cool. So yeah, it was just this really small world. That's
I know,
really
yeah.
what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's just mind blowing. And then you guys were on the We Own This Town podcast, and they played Mosaic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And
That was a surprise, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You guys are
Because-
surprises with your music,
I
man.
know, I don't know.
So we put the album out.
I'd love someone to surprise us with a record deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Mosaic, that was a mistake. Like the whole song was a mistake.
Yeah.
Basically,
It was an
we
accident.
were like going through some parts, and if you're in Pro Tools and you have, I think it's like shift space, it plays it in halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So like we were listening to Cruel, and all of a sudden I hit shift space by accident, and it plays the chorus in 50% at 50% of the speed. So it's like down an octave, really heavy,
Mhm.
really bassy. I was like, that'd be sick for an outro to
You're
the
both
album.
like,
It
whoa,
is
wait,
sick,
play that
yeah.
again. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
So I, made it and everything in a new session, and she had this poem that she wrote years ago that was called Mosaic. So that's like the history of that song. But we released the album, and all of a sudden, I think it was on our Bandcamp. All of a sudden, I saw someone download Mosaic and bought it, and I was like, "Who just buy Mosaic?" Like it's a minute and like,
Yeah,
what, a
the
minute and a
minute
half
song.
long. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not really even a song, but yeah. So apparently he found it and liked that song and bought it and put it on his podcast. And yeah, I think his description was like, the bass in the song is pretty bonkers, so buckle up. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
It is.
I was like, of all the
It's
songs, that's weird, but that's
Yeah.
sweet. Thanks.
And then we didn't even know he was like gonna like include us
Yeah.
at all until he tagged us in the finished episode,
Right.
and we were like, "What? This is awesome!"
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. Like,
Yeah.
I loved that. And
Yeah.
yeah, he was really encouraging about it too. It was like the first like person besides our moms that had listened to that song. So it was really cool to
Yeah.
hear an outside perspective like for the first time. So yeah.
No, it's cool. That's crazy. It's a
Yeah.
fluke because
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
for sure.
Total mistake.
I love it. That's what, like, at the end, I was like, man, this is heavy. Like, this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need
Yeah.
to bump it in my car with some actually good.
Yeah,
sound.
that's right,
Yeah. We love our bass. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's all that matters.
Uh-huh.
And then you guys have a phone wallpaper. Are you gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
add
Oh,
more
yeah.
to
That's next to
that?
him.
And- yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looks awesome. I love
Thanks.
like all the D's down and then having
Thanks.
the yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, there'll probably be some more stuff like that.
Oh, for sure.
It's such a good idea.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
thought
yeah.
that was, yeah,
He's all full of ideas like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's good marketing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that
Well,
was.
you worked for like a marketing company for a little while, so you kind of know their secrets a little bit.
Yeah. I worked at an ad agency like right out of college for not long, like a year and a half or so. But
Yeah.
yeah, you get to like see all that stuff, and then I was like a project manager over some like at the next company I went to for like some pretty huge websites, and you get to see like all the behind the scenes, like what all they do in their marketing stuff. So tons of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured since people were kind of grasping onto that song at that point, we're just like, let's give them some more content somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
It's free to make and free for them.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
free to make because we have you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's true.
Can't forget that.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then the one that made me want to not get you guys on the podcast was your problem with Sweet Pickles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't dislike them so much where I want to start a movement.
I actively dislike them.
I actually
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand.
They're
It's
just the worst
even
ever.
the consistency. It's kind of like it's crunchy but mushy at the same time.
It tastes like
Like
a
decide
pickle.
what you want to be.
Like it's got the
Yeah,
consistency
like-
of a pickle.
the audacity, honestly. I don't know. That's another thing about us all, I think, is that we're really like opinionated.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, we're really nice people, I promise, but we are so freaking opinionated.
Yeah.
So like, we were just like, on our podcast we should definitely capitalize on that and just talk about the stuff that we care so much about that means nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's just
Sweet
fun,
pickles.
so.
Sweet baby gherkins.
There was
Sweet baby
baby
gherkin.
gherkins.
there was
the
Yeah.
name.
floating in something with something else too.
They
Well, it's all
look like
pickles.
Like they just need to be by themselves.
That's all pickles.
They look
kind of.
like those things you see on people's walls where you like go into a witch's basement. She's got these things floating in jars and you're not sure what it is.
Well,
It looks like an
what
appendix.
the human fingers in
Yeah.
like formaldehyde.
Yeah, like bloated
Yeah.
little finger. It's green, but
There you go.
don't
That's just
eat.
ideas for a music video in the future. You
Yeah.
just-
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
If we ever have a haunted house in any videos, we're
There
having
you go.
sweet baby gherkins
Yeah.
and formaldehyde.
And I think part of the reason I hated them too is like not even because of the actual pickle, which I don't like, but me and my best friend in high school, we nicknamed one of our friends Little G, and it was for Little Gherkin. So we called him Little Gherkin all the time because, we thought it fit. So
We don't want any more behind the scenes than that.
no, that's I'll stop it there. But you can, nope. Also, if I talk any more about him, I'm gonna start cry laughing. So
He does it all the time.
we were in
man.
Target like a month ago, and I was telling a
no.
story about him. I should just tell it. So I can't.
Go
The
ahead.
same friend.
Is
I'll
he gonna
close my-
watch this?
I don't know. I'll close my eyes so I can tell it. The same friend, like me and my best friend, we would make up these weird stories about him. So we had this one friend, and we kind of made a character over his whole person, and we were like, I can't say that one.
Yes, you can.
We were like the first one was like, I don't know, what if when he got really nervous and sweat, he just sweat butterscotch so he's all sticky. like just weird crap like that. And
It's
then
like salad fingers. You ever seen salad?
yes,
Like,
we
yeah.
love salad fingers. And then
I don't. They do.
we were I'm gonna try to make this appropriate so like we have whoever viewing.
Okay.
We were
Your
like,
parents are watching.
yeah. So we're like, or like, what if whenever he got like really excited, like he would disappear. So every time he disappears, you're just like, oh crap, where is he? Like, obviously he's too excited to be around me right now, but yeah, I don't know. It's
I don't know if you guys can read between the lines.
yeah. If you read between the lines, it's really funny. If not, I don't know. I know we have like young fans, so I don't
We
want to
do.
like
Yeah.
get too graphic. But wouldn't it be the worst if like that was a condition someone had, and
Yeah, that was
like
just
if
a real
Austin
thing.
just disappeared, I'd be like,
Get away from me. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're branching out into weird territory here.
Oh,
yeah,
it's genius.
Yeah.
yeah,
More stuff. Write stories about it.
yeah, like
Concept
oh, man.
album. About your
Seriously.
All
friends.
based on
Seriously.
that kid.
Oh my gosh,
Dude, that would be a Weird Al album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So-
just make a whole movie off of it, but like a Tenacious D kind of movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can see
yeah.
that.
Yep. Oh man,
Yep.
yeah.
We
That
do
poor
need to
kid.
write like a B-side called like Sweet Baby Gherkins or something.
Such a sick name, man.
Right.
What a good name.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Yeah.
but yeah, we can rant about little things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about your guys' podcast. So that
Oh,
just
yeah.
started.
It did. Yeah, episode 1 was beginning of this month, and we have like 4 or 5 episodes in editing right now.
Nice.
I
I wish we were like that.
we
We're
were
just now starting to get like things in the.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
right.
It takes a lot of time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it took
I know.
us like we did a full day of just like let's just do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But we were even talking to our photographer, and she was like, "How'd you guys just sit down and talk for like 5 episodes? Like we can talk for forever."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talk about like, that one was kind of an intro to us.
Mm-hmm.
We have another one about like just The Office.
Oh yeah, because we're obsessed with The Office.
What are the other ones about? I know I'm editing them, but I forget what they're about.
I didn't remember doing the one for The Office, so I don't know.
He forgot whole like hours of his life.
We have so much that we're doing, we kind of forget about things.
We have like an episode about like how we all moved here and why, and then we have an episode about our musical backgrounds and our idols and like our influences, and then
it's all coming back.
Yeah, and you remember being there now. Okay.
He'll remember when we released it.
I remember none of those.
He's the one that doesn't drink and he blacks out more than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're super excited. We're all kind of introverted too, like not that this shows that, but like when you get us talking one-on-one, we're like real like open and we love it. But in general, like we're walking around, like we're not super, charismatic and outgoing. So we wanted something that would like give our fans or anyone listening like an ability to get to know us in a way that would be really natural. And like I feel like us just chilling and talking like we usually do gives people the best idea of like who we are and just a natural setting.
I think it's such a good idea.
Yeah, because like even at shows or whatever, like we do our best to try to talk to people and all that. But because we're super task focused and then a little bit introverted too. Yeah. So we even if we might want to talk to someone, like if it's before our set, like I don't know, I could be in a totally different headspace.
Yeah.
So we figured like Becca said, we feel like it's a good way for people to just kind of get to know us a little more.
So we're super excited to release more of that and record. We have a couple episodes we're gonna do on like behind the single and like we're gonna do a behind the single on Addict once it's out. So a couple weeks after this Friday, that'll come out and kind of talks about what the song's about and where we were when we wrote it and stuff. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah. Trying to just like push all the content we can out.
Because podcasts are great because it's like weekly content that you can. That was kind of like why we started and everything, and then just kind of branched into this now. But like it's just something that you can consistently release because it's a lot easier to sit down and talk for an hour compared to write an entire song and be like, this has to be out. And,
it's like a couple hours versus like a couple months. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. And because 2018 when our first album came out. It's been a while since then. Yeah. So I don't know if I've been in a band that actually took that long on their second release. But part of it was kind of like figuring out how we're going to do all this, realistically live and all that.
Yeah.
But trying to get as much out now as we can.
And I think we all, like I said, we're all kind of type A and like just very driven on like task focus, like you said. So we have like, a band shared note, which just has like tasks assigned to all of us, and
it's long.
What do you use?
Well, we just use notes.
Just notes. There's one called Asana that we use.
Oh, really?
It's I've used that.
We'll have to send us a link or show it to us because we love it. Like Austin was trying to get one of these like project management websites that he used for something. Like we were gonna map out like our whole album production on it, and like we had like hourly tasks or like daily tasks.
Daily
tasks.
I mapped it all out of like, these things have to happen this day if you want to release an album on this day.
Yeah.
And that was right before I told him we're scrapping the idea.
Well, like that next day we were like, no.
Well, we saw what it would take too, and we were like, holy crap,
it wasn't like a waste of time.
No.
It puts things in
perspective. Because part of the reason was we wanted to do this massive thing, but we also wanted to release content right away. But we didn't want to give away the content before the album was ready. So we mapped it out and it was like, well, we can release this like January of 2021. And I was like, there's no way after only releasing an album in 2018
that anyone's gonna care either.
Yeah, we'll be gone by then.
I can't wait.
That's the tough thing is that you have to can build up that traction, but then to keep it is
and then we were thinking too, like an album, honestly, like it's a little bump in recognition as far as like social media and everything goes for like a month or two. Like if we can get singles out like every 4 to 6 weeks, that's the same attention that you're getting.
It's like building a fire with a stick.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like do this and then like wait a couple hours and then do it again. Like, you've got to keep going or else
what
nothing.
What a fantastic analogy.
Thank you. I'm the queen of metaphors. But
That's so true,
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
But I think singles... So are you guys going to just compile it at the end and put it on an album? Is that what you're thinking?
So I'm thinking we'll probably release, I don't know, what is it, like 6 to 8 more singles this year. and then probably do like an album with those, maybe plus a couple more.
Yeah, like
just to
couple.
put some new content in there, and then next year probably just I don't know what next year brings, but at least start the new kind of cycle over again.
Yeah, and like in between that, like definitely like trying to book more shows because like I think for us we all have full-time jobs, like 40-hour-a-week jobs and like offices too, and so we're trying to do this like on our off hours and book shows, and shows end up being like the back burner, which is bad
when you have so many recording tasks.
We have so many like other things we're working on. We're like, okay, well, like we'll book some shows for like next month, and then like no one's gonna give a crap that we're releasing stuff if they're not seeing us play or like actually hearing about us either. So that's been like that's our next focus is like we've gotta get on that because that's the other half of being a band.
Yeah, it's so hard, man.
We're trying to book out in Nashville too now, because you can play here every once in a while, but I mean after a while, nobody's gonna come if you play too much. So we're trying to book outside of Nashville this year too, and maybe do like a fall tour, maybe go out to the East Coast and everything. So trying to amp that up a lot.
Yeah. Maybe Matt Kreiner will let us open for him.
There you go. Be sick.
He doesn't even
pop
know
band.
Who we are. So
just add in some screams.
Yep. I bought the what's her name, Melissa Cross DVDs.
Oh really?
Because I really want to learn to scream so bad.
Oh man.
I feel like if I learn to scream, I'll have mastered the human vocal cords because I went to college for vocal performance and I did opera, and then I did musical theater, and then I sang in a bluegrass band with my family growing up, which was weird. It was fun, but and then now I'm like trying to do rock and pop. So if I learn to, and I rap a little bit. Yeah. So if I learn to scream, it'll be like, oh wow, I made it.
Yeah. Just to be able to push that like grit in there too.
Yeah, exactly.
You were listening to like Paris.
Yep.
I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, their new EP is sick too.
Yeah.
But a lot different, but it's still sick.
Not female fronted is not a genre, but
but it's okay. Yeah. It's a whole other flavor.
We just always remind people that.
Yeah. Well, Paris is cool too because I mean, sometimes when it's like a rock band with a female vocalist, it seems often it can be limited as far as what they can do. But with Paris, it's like they mix this pop and rock and metal type thing. It's
wild. It's cool.
Yeah.
Even when I do like the synths, it's just heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's about all my notes. Is there anything you guys want to go over? Shout out to
just
anything?
Download our single.
Do it. Yeah.
By the time this is out.
It'll be out.
I may be dead, but if you're watching
so
this,
now you should really download it.
It's been a blast. Thank
you guys for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's great.
Awesome.
So links will be in the description as always. All right, we out.